Okay, we're all set.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 5th, 2025 meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission. And we will open with the roll call. So Ms. Hofstetter,
Here.
Mr. Salvin,
Here.
Mr. Haas is absent, and Chair Finaldi is absent. Vice Chairman Kiyoki was here. We don't have any alternates, but we do have a quorum, so I guess we're good to proceed. Commission members, you've received the draft minutes of the January 15th meeting. Unless there's any questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Helen, seconded by Perry. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The meeting of the minutes of the January 5th meeting are accepted. Thank you. For the record, the next regular meeting is scheduled for February 19th. And before we move on to the public hearings, I'll read the intro to the Zoom meeting notice. This meeting of the Danbury Planning Commission is being held on Zoom as a virtual meeting. Even though this meeting is a virtual meeting, members of the public and interested parties continue to have an opportunity to participate in the meeting in a couple of different ways. You can participate via Zoom and see the audio and video, or you can call in by phone and participate via audio only. Please be aware that we may have to mute your microphone or telephone to avoid an echo or some other background noise. Instructions on how to participate in the meeting appear on the City of Danbury website, and all the documents and materials that apply to the matters to be discussed during this meeting, including the agenda, are also available on the City of Danbury website. As always, if you have any questions regarding how to participate in the meeting, please contact the City of Danbury Planning and Zoning Department. As a reminder, the entire meeting will be posted on and can be seen on the City of Danbury website. We will follow the posted agenda as per standard practice. If prior to the meeting, any questions or comments on agenda items were submitted via email to the Planning and Zoning Department, those comments will be read during the appropriate portion of the meeting. Please remember that technology glitches sometimes do occur. Please be patient if that happens. Okay, moving along. First on the agenda is a topic for discussion and possible action. Item 1, discussion of possible action on the proposed capital improvement plan fiscal year 25-26 through fiscal year 30-31. Commission members, I think you have received several items of the information regarding the capital improvement plan, and I believe Waleed will take us through that.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Before I start, I just would like to mention that I sent you an Excel sheet this time. I hope it was helpful because it actually allowed you to see more of what we are talking about. My goal is not actually to focus on each item. I will just give you an overview of what the capital improvement plan is and what a capital budget is. Following that, I will explain how we do it. And at the end, I will just focus on the main, I would say, submissions. There are lots of submissions. I wouldn't be able to cover all of them. I decided to cover any submission above $10 million. And at the end, before I open the discussion, I will just explain that we submitted most of what we received, and I will explain why. If I forget, just remind me during the question time. Can I just share my PowerPoint with you?
Please.
Please.
Can you all see that or no?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're talking about is what we call CIP, which is the Capital Improvement Plan, and the capital budget. And I'm going to explain what the difference is later on. So CIP, usually, it's a plan for city spending or expenditure over 5 years. However, the caveat is we do it for 6 years here. The standard usually is 5 years. The first year of any CIP is called capital budget. In our case, it will be the financial year of 2025, 2026. And the first year of any CIP is included into the operating budget. So if you look at the Excel sheet I sent you, you will see there are lots of columns. The first one is 2025, 2026. That's what we call here capital budget. So what happens? Is usually beginning of November, we open an online system, Google Sheets, and you have seen how it looks like when we convert it into Excel sheet. It has a lot of tabs, all of them are connected together, and the goal is we capture all the submission from all the department. If you look at the slide here, you will see all the departments and divisions included. As you might expect, most of the submissions come from engineering, public works, highway, fire, police, and sometimes water and sewage. If you look at the other tabs, that includes, for example, museum or our department planning, sometimes you might not see any submission, sometimes you might see very limited numbers. And what happens once we open it, there's individual meeting with each head of each department, and we help out when there are time to put their submission and make sure it's kind of realistic. However, of course, it needs to be cleaned up later. So, first of all, what did we receive this year? I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you open your Excel sheet, you will see what I'm talking about. You need to focus on the first year, which is the capital budget. We received this year almost, and I'm trying to see it here, the number is, it's very small, just bear with me here. It's about 128,000. For the 6 years, and you need to focus on this number here, it's over almost $800,000. Some of it, if you look very closely, is coming from the general fund or budget. Some of it will come from, hopefully, external funding. And again, that's just in a nutshell all what we received. However, the big submissions, I'm going to go over them one by one. The first one is over 36 million. It's coming from highway. Over 6 years, they need to replace a lot of the equipment. Another big submission, also from highway, it's over 100 million. It's for construction. We have a lot of big asks from the school. One is over 16 million. That's for, they have a school lease, they want to buy a new site. We have another big submission from the school, 17 million. It's general maintenance and repair for a lot of schools. We have another big one from the school as well for 13,500,000. That's for repairs for the BBAC school. Also fire, if you look at what the submission, I mean the Excel sheet, they have more than one big item. First one, it's over 11 million, and it's for vehicle replacement. As far as I understand it, under the old ARPA, which is gone now, they were able to do a lot of replacement, but for now, that's not available. So they are budgeting it in over the next 6 years. Also, the fire had a big submission for, and I'm sure you must have seen this one. They need a new fire headquarters. Initially, they are talking about $85 million. So big one. Another big one is the West Side Fire Station. I'm sure you must have heard about it. It's the one on the west side. It was a bond for 49 million. For now, about 18,600,000 will go for buying the land, engineering work, and design. Highway has another big ask for over $30 million. That's for fleet. Again, two big ones are coming from our water and sewer fund, and those are coming from EPA, which is a federal agency for environment. If no changes happen in the federal regulations, sewer fund will need 20 million within the next 4 years, and water fund will need 52 million. Because what happened is, again, as we all know, there are some changes happening as we speak in the EPA agency. If changes are made that will negate the need for these changes, we'll let you know. But as we speak now, within the next 4 years, if there are no changes in the legal regulations, 20 million will be needed for upgrades to the sewer system, and 52 million will be needed to meet some requirement. BVAS is a chemical component that doesn't dissolve in water. So the new regulation as we speak now require dealing with this situation. So a lot of it is actually something that we will have to do. Some of that, especially I'm talking about the new fire headquarters, might wait. However, the decision was, when we were discussing all the submissions, we will give all departments a chance. If the CIP is approved by Planning Commission, to go and apply for funding, and it will give them more weight if the CIP includes the improvements we're talking about. However, let's be clear. What you see now is not going to be exactly what goes to council, because a lot of changes will happen between now and going to council. With that, I think I give you a quick overview of what we are talking about. Happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner members, any questions at this time?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to, I guess, say that all of these things look reasonable to me. I'm not sure how this bounces against the funds we actually have available to address these items in the schedules that are listed. So I don't know if Waleed would want to comment on, you know, if you think you're getting comfortable with where we are with all this yourself.
So, back to you. So what will happen is, I feel comfortable, like professionally speaking, I don't see any harm in accepting and approving it by the Planning Commission as it is. However, I made it very clear when I was talking to Finance Department and Mayor's Office, they are already looking at it. So when it goes to council, we all know there's not enough fund for all of that. What will be presented to council will be way less than what you see. However, the goal is based on discussion between myself, Finance Department, Mayor's Office, and a lot of the department heads. I mean, specifically fire, Public Works, all the folks who have big submission. It will help them if the CIP is approved by the Planning Commission as it is. So when they submit application, say to the state for funding, it gives them more weight, saying, hey, it's not my idea as the head of the engineering department. It's already something the Planning Commission knows that we need.
Thank you. That's helpful. Thank you.
Mr. Vice Chair, just a couple comments. I
Go ahead,
appreciate that explanation, Waleed. You know, it helps explain why we do need to go through this process and how it works in the long term. And, you know, it's a lot of money, but we have a big wish list and a lot of things we need to get done, and we have to start somewhere, and start by showing our interest and our need to get that money and get it done some way, somehow. So
Some way,
thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, if I have another question. So if we do recommend these projects, which again sound reasonable to me, and you And then the work, I believe you're saying is that you're going to need to work with all the departments, but also the council to come up with an agreement about balancing, what we have to spend when and what these projects will cost. Is that correct? That's like a process that follows our either acceptance or denial of this, this budget.
Back to you. That's absolutely the case.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Very helpful.
And Helen, to add to that, I did ask a few questions ahead of time, and I did get some answers back from the finance department. So, that $91 million obviously is not going to be spent. And I wanted to know, like last year, it was, I think, around 14 million, but they really only requested, or we only used 3.7 million last year. And the prior years have been in the $3 to $4 million range. So in reality, the big pile is 91 million, but it's really going to be probably something less than 5 million, not counting like the bonding and external financing and all that. I'm talking about just general funds that come in current year from taxes. So, we kind of put everything together. Here's our wish list. And as Waleed said, we want to get approval, so it's meaningful that these are projects that we want to do in case we can get external financing. And then at the end of the day, it's up to kind of the department heads and council and mayor's office to really determine which projects kind of get the go ahead for this year, and which ones kind of get put on for next year and the years after.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for explaining the discussion you and I had. So I will give you an example, a concrete one, for how things work. You might be familiar with downtown, the sidewalk project, the one that was going. So what happened is you might secure the money. There was a bond for 8 million from the city back, I believe, 2019 or even before. It's still, the 8 million are still not spent. Only a portion is spent. However, you need to allocate it at some point. Understanding any project, especially when it comes to construction, takes time. So you might have the money, it's allocated. It doesn't mean it will be done overnight.
Yep. Got it. Okay, any other questions or comments? Yes, so if anybody's inclined, I'll entertain a motion to approve the capital improvement plan for 25-26 to 30-31.
Mr. Vice Chairman, so moved.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, motion has been made by Perry, seconded by Helen. Any further discussion? Hearing
No,
none.
thank you for all the hard work that you've done in the department on this. Appreciate it.
You can tell with the
Thank you.
spreadsheet, there's
Yeah.
quite a bit of administrative work
goes
going
into
on
it.
there.
Absolutely.
We're working on making it more simple for next year. So bear with us. It will be easier to understand later on.
Great. Okay, let's go for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the capital improvement plan for fiscal year 25-26 through fiscal year 30-31 is approved. So thank you very much. There's no other new public hearings this evening, so we can move on to the continuation of public hearings. And I believe the applicant for the 55 Newtown Road has requested a continuation to the next meeting. So won't be hearing any testimony regarding this application. Jen, do I need to read that, and we need to vote to continue? Is that how that would work?
If you can, please.
Okay, sure.
Thank
Sure.
you.
So the item would be 55 Newtown Road LLC. It's an application for special exception site plan approval for fast food restaurant, section 5A 2B 16, drive-through use, section 3E8, and trip generation greater than 500 vehicle trips per day, section 3E2 in the CG20 zone, 55 Newtown Road, L12023, special exception number 803. Commission members, I'll entertain a motion to continue this public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Thank you.
Second?
So, motion has been made by Helen and seconded by Perry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Right?
Aye.
Opposed? So that public hearing is continued to the next meeting on February 19th. All right. Moving on, there's nothing under old business, nothing under referrals, and under new business, you'll see something coming up for the March 5th meeting. And then under for reference only, you'll see a couple things, one for March 19th and one for the next meeting on February 19th. And I believe that is all for tonight. Ally or Jen, did I miss anything else? I'd like to keep it
No,
under half an
no.
hour if I can.
You had 20 minutes, Bob.
Unbelievable.
All right, I'll have to text Arnie. All right, then, I guess I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, so moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion's made by Helen and seconded by Perry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Well, I think that
Thank
might
you.
be the fastest for the capital improvement budget as well.
We're gonna have to time these down to the minute. That's a good idea.
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
All right.
After
right,
some
thanks,
intense
everyone.
deliberation.
Snow